right, y'all, welcome. We will go ahead and get started. Um, I think most of this information is not new to most of you if you've done this in the past, so we will try to keep this brief. Probably don't need to hold you for the whole hour, so we will go ahead and get started. I think we're just waiting for a couple of people, but we are recording too, so if anyone misses, I'll email this out when we're done. Um, I'm just gonna have, I know some of you all probably know each other, but if people wouldn't mind going around and doing a quick intro, just who you are, what county or organization you're with, and then how long you've been involved in GYT. It's just helpful for us to know each other. So I'll start. My name is Adele White. I'm a project manager with HCT. Most of my colleagues are in Indianapolis, but I am the Wisconsin person now. So I am here with you all in Wisconsin, located in Milwaukee. And then we can kind of just popcorn around. So I'll pick on Kelsey since I see you next to me if you want to go next.
Sounds good. Hello, I'm Kelsey Wuso. I'm the lead public health nurse with the Clark County Health Department. I will be here 10 years next month. And as far as I know, I've been doing GYT since I started, so many, many years.
Awesome. And then Kelsey, you can pick on the next person if you want.
Okay, I'll pick on Gracie.
Hi, I'm Gracie. I am at the Eau Claire City County Health Department. I'm one of the public health nurses, work primarily in our family planning clinic here. I started here just over a year ago, and so have been participating in GYT about the same amount of time. And I'll pass it over to Janelle.
Hi, I'm Janelle. I'm one of the public health nurses here in Eau Claire. Now I'm manager here. Been here for, God, October will be 20 years, I think. So I don't know how long I've been doing GYT since conception, maybe. Uh, the conception of GYT, not my conception, but anyways, I will pass it on to Brooke.
Hi, I'm Brooke. I am with Pierce County. I'm the reproductive health nurse, and I just started working here in April, and this is kind of my first public health job. So I have not been doing GYT very long, but I am excited to learn more. And then I'll pass it on to Brittany.
Hi, I'm not sure which Brittany, but I'll go and then I'll pass it on to the other Brittany. I'm Brittany. I am the Clark County Health Department Health Officer Director. I've been in public health about 16 years. So a little bit shy from you, Janelle. Don't remember either exactly. Kelsey is our main and has always been our main leader of our program, but probably for a multitude number of years. So I'll pass it to the other Brittany.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I'm the registered nurse at Healthcare Clinic, and we serve Douglas County, Ashland County, Bayfield County, but we're mostly located in Superior. I've been doing GYT since 2020, and the clinic has been doing it since probably it started as well. But we're happy to keep doing it. So go for it, Heather.
I'm Heather Wilcoxon, work with Brittany, the director of Healthcare Clinic. We're just a standalone nonprofit, so we're not public health. Yeah, I've been here for 22, almost 23 years, and we've been doing it since it started. So we're happy to participate again this year. Who hasn't
Awesome.
gone yet?
It looks like my colleague Doug jumped on. So Doug, if you want to introduce yourself, that'd be great.
No worries. Hi, I'm Doug. I work with Adele at HCET, and I've been kind of on the back end of things with GYT for the past 5, 6 years, something like that, with just tracking data and all those reports that you all send in. So, but yeah, I'm just here to be support and help out. Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Doug. Yeah, he's been doing GYT data much longer than I have. I've only been with HCT for, I want to say like 2.5 years now, and Doug's been with us for much longer. So he he's great to have on my team. And I think you all, well, not those of you who are new, but many of you know Jeremy Roseberry, who was my supervisor previously. But he sends his best. He says hi. He has moved on to a position at the Indiana Department of Public Health, working in STIs, but he is going to be working on GYT in Indiana, so he still continues to work in the STI world. So I just told him I'd give y'all a quick hello. Um, we are just going to go over briefly the reporting tool. So since Doug's on here too, y'all are able to ask as many questions as you want. I know many of you have seen the reporting tool before, so it'll be super familiar. It's the same of last year. For some of you whom it's new, like obviously feel free to ask questions, or if you have any questions from last year. Actually, it looks like Liz from Ashland just jumped on. So Liz, I'm going to pick on you right away. Thanks for joining us. I know y'all had a conflict, so thank you for making it. If you just want to tell us who you are, the organization or county that you're with, and how long you've been involved with GYT, we would love to hear from you.
Hello, yes. Apologies for the delay in joining. My
No
dog did
worries.
not want to go back in the house after his walk, so there was a last minute scuffle. Um, Liz Kobaki, I am the health officer for Ashland County. We have been involved with GYT for several years. I don't remember when we started. I want to say it was like maybe 2019, somewhere in that neck of the woods. So we've been involved for a while. Um, what was the rest of your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's it. You don't need to do
Okay.
anything else. Yeah. And I know sometimes like different people in your org may have been involved with GYT. I'm not even sure how long HCET has been doing GYT. I know it's also been like several years. That's at least since 2017. So we all have our history back and forth. Um, Since Doug is here, we're going to go over the reporting tool first, but I'll go over the funding agreement in like a little more detail. But what's really nice about this abbreviated period of funding. So this is from March 1st, your GYT activities through August 31st. We're just having you do one report to cover everything. It's just easier than doing like three or four different ones. So I'm gonna go and ahead and share my screen so y'all can take a look at what it looks like in case you've never seen it before. It is the same as last year, so there shouldn't be any huge surprises. Let's see. Here it is. And then Doug's on here if you want to ask any questions, just jump in anytime. So we just have the name of person completing form. That may be you, that may be someone else at your organization. Number of people tested for gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, total GYT participants tested, and then treated. So some of you all may not treat people directly at your organization. That's totally fine. You can just put a note. We know that, and that's like in the funding agreement, it specifies like what people who don't treat at their org do for that. And then number of participants enrolled in family planning only services. If you do that, if not, I know sometimes people refer them out. That's fine too. We know that happens. So you can just like note that there. Condoms distributed in 2025. Dual protection kits. Again, the dual protection kits are part of the agreement for using this funding. But if you have any questions about that, let me know. You all can ask each other, questions too about like what you like to include in your kits. I know sometimes people include extra fun things, which is cool, but I know a lot of that depends on funding and what you're able to get donated and what you're able to purchase. So we definitely understand not everyone's dual protection kit is going to be the same. This is when you explain more, like if you're unable to test and treat participants directly, like how that was done, you give your numbers. Locations, where participants were referred if unable to test and treat. That's just good for us to know. Date, time, and event of your GYT event. So this is assuming you are just doing one event. I know some of you may choose to do multiple. We love to know about, all the events that you're doing. Even though we're only asking you to do one, we know many of you might do things monthly or every other month. We just like to know about your efforts. It helps us advocate for funding in the future and certainly helps the state. As we do share this data with them, it helps them kind of show like what Wisconsin's doing well and how each county or each organization is handling their STI work. And then if no GYT event occurred, how you use the funding and use your outreach efforts. If for some reason the things that outlined in the funding agreement aren't happening and you like are like trying to figure it out, please just communicate with us. Let us know. You can communicate directly with me, with Doug. Sometimes we know things change, so just please keep us informed. And then we love to see any like photos that you're allowed to share. Obviously, like participants don't always want you to take their photos, but like if you take a picture of your kits or any promo materials you have, we love to see those. And then like really anything that worked well, if you used a different type of organization to partner with, like this part can be pretty narrative. We just want to hear how things went for you. And if you're willing to share those to other sites, I know really like to learn from one another. A success story is always great to hear. Well, this could be like about one particular client that you work with, or like if you tried a new location and it worked well. Um, and then challenges we also like to know about too. Um, I know there's been a lot of changes with, for example, those of you who work with a lot of clients who are immigrants, whether or not they're documented or not. I know with the current administration, people sometimes are not wanting to come out to any institution as frequently as they did before if they feel like their information might be shared. So like those are the kind of things that we like to know. Um, and then any additional information you want to share. So there's the tool. The instructions are right here. Doug really wrote out in much more detail than I just explained what goes in each field. So I know I just went through that quickly, but please let me know what questions you have, and myself and Doug can answer them. Actually, before I do that, Doug, did I miss anything important that you'd like to highlight from this?
So no, the only thing I'll add is that so so like we say like number of GYT participants tested for gonorrhea in 2025. So, I know that the funding agreement is from like ends August or something, like June to August or
Yeah, it's March 1st to August 31st.
yeah. So like, but if you want to include January to March, even though there wasn't a contract in place, just because a lot of you again have ongoing activities throughout the year, the higher the numbers are, always helps with retaining this funding. So I'm not asking you to make up anything or fib. But if you want to include the whole year, up through August, um, then you're welcome to do that. And the higher numbers again just helps for showing impact and retaining this money. So that's what I'll add.
Okay, good to know. And then that might make reporting easier for y'all. You don't have to pull separate reports if you normally report things on a calendar year basis. Good to know. Um, And I have the deadline for this, which y'all may have seen in the funding agreement, to turn it in by Thursday, October 2nd. I picked that day because I'm currently expecting and I'll be starting my maternity leave. My due date is October 11th. And sometimes babies like to join us a little bit early, as my first son did, a little over a year ago. So really like hopefully I can receive your reports, but if I'm not here, Doug will take care of everything. So, any questions? What questions do y'all have about this form, if anything? Does anything look like information that you all don't collect already?
It all looks the same to us, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah, it should be. There should be no surprises if you've done this before, so I'll stop sharing. Cool, cool, cool. I'm just going to run through the things that are in the funding agreement. You'll have all signed it, but if you need any clarification, like please let me know. This will not take long because again, it is quite similar to what y'all have used in the past. And I'm not going to use the fancy language. I'm just going to say like use regular people language. Can y'all see this okay? Is it zoomed in enough?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, really just this funding is meant to be used for GYT related efforts. Um, the only data that you need to give to us is the stuff in the report. You only submit it once. This funding is possible from the Wisconsin Department of Health STI unit. So that's who is allowing us to distribute this money to you all. Let's see, the kickoff call, you're participating in that now, and those who aren't here can watch it on YouTube, and it should be pretty simple. Your one event should be between March 1st and August 31st. And again, the report will ask you the date of that. If you're doing multiple events, we love it. And as Doug shared, if you want to include data from earlier in 2025, we love to hear about that too. So this is probably old hat. Y'all know this. Hold one GYT event at your agency outside of your normal 9 to 5 hours, or hold one GYT event at a location other than your agency. So you know your community's best. You know how to meet their needs. You all choose to do this in a way that works for your agency and your community members. Again, let us know if this is not able to happen and what you're doing instead. Just please communicate with us as soon as you know if anything will change and you're not able to meet this requirement under activity A. And then activity B, oops, I scrolled a little bit too quickly. Partner with at least one community org or small business during the initiative to access additional at-risk populations. Again, you all know your community's best. We love to hear your ideas about who you're partnering with, whether it's the same partner as in the past or a new one. We really love to hear your ideas. I know some people have changed partner orgs, and so that will be, a new variable that we can learn from this year. And then C, enrolling patients tested for STIs in family planning only services or referring them to your family planning partner for FPOS enrollment. And then D, offer the dual protection kit to those tested. We love to know what's in your dual protection kits. It's just fun for us to see like a little picture if you have those as well. And then this is like very much a DHS thing. You all know the forms much better than I do. I'm not a clinician. Use the Wisconsin State Laboratory of Hygiene and select GYT on the lab requisition form. This is really, really sticky for the state. This is how they can make sure the money, as much as possible, can happen in future years, is this like physical mark of GYT on the form. So make sure whoever is working your event knows that they have to check that box, because that's a lot of good data comes from checking that box. And then activity F is really just submitting the reporting tool to us. That's all. And then be as narrative as you want in your responses. That really helps us to submit a meaningful report to the state, which then helps them advocate for more money in the future from the CDC. And similar to last year, we're just requiring one report. We're not doing the quarterly ones like some of y'all have experienced in the past. I have the due date set for Thursday, October 2nd. And then that should include any and all GYT data from March 1st, March 1st to August 31st, but it can include your January and February data too, if you have it. And then any questions about data stuff, please email Doug. You can always CC me. I just like to know what's going on. And then anything else, you can email me. You can all just email both of us all the time, honestly. If it's hard to remember when to email Doug and when to email me. So you can just have us both on there. Obviously, failure to implement activities may mean that we're not able to pay you. We don't want to do that. So just keep us posted if anything goes wrong. How payment will works is super simple. Let me stop sharing here. So you do not need to submit an invoice to us unless your, organization or county requires it for your own record keeping. Once you submit your report by October 2nd, we will just fill the paperwork out and then you'll get your check sent to you. Usually your check will get sent to you within 30 days of you sending everything over to us. So it should be in government speak pretty quick compared to waiting for checks from the state for something. So yeah, you're welcome to send us an invoice if you need it for record keeping, but you don't have to. Basically, you're submitting your report to us is like the same thing as an invoice. And your funding agreements specify the amount. It was the same for everyone. I believe it was $1,100 this year. Right now, the reason there are so few of you on here is because, we received less money for GYT this year, so we really wanted to focus on sites who normally do it really well and show really good numbers and have really creative efforts. So we've just been really impressed with how all of y'all have done it over the last couple years. So we thank you for your dedication, and we know that like getting less money from us every year is really difficult. And I know you all probably have to pull from every corner of every single funding that you can possibly use for this to make it happen, because the needs of our communities aren't changing. They're, increasing, even though funding does not always increase with that. So I just want to say, thank you for all you do. We recognize this is difficult work, and reaching out to at-risk populations is difficult, and you all have been very, very creative in how you make that happen. So I think I have covered everything, but please, Doug, interrupt me if I'm missing things. Y'all ask any questions or share anything good for me or or the other team members to know. Feel free, speak your questions, speak your comments. All right, we good? I will send out a follow-up email just with highlights from this, and also with a recording to this if anyone else from your org needs to watch it. What is helpful too is if you send this on to anyone who worries about money. So if there's people who don't see what's going on with GYT but are wondering like, where is this, $1,100 that was promised to us? If you forward things along to them, then they can see what kind of documentation is required. But people can email myself and Doug with questions, and then if we need to, our colleague Jen, who deals with all the money stuff, can talk with your accounting people as needed as well. Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us today and for all the work you do. Stay cool, enjoy your fans, air conditioning if you have it. And yeah, holler at us with any questions.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank y'all. Nice to meet some of you for the first time. I'll see you in person, hopefully, eventually. Bye.
Bye.